four of our best writers on the case. Matt Larkin did Canada, Stephen Ellis did Finland, our pal Uffe Boden handled Sweden, and then you handled Team USA, Frank. But let's kick things off with Canada's projected roster from Matt Larkin. The one surprise, even though he's up in the top six for me, was seeing Alexis Lafreniere there. I do think that trio does actually make a bit of sense, but that was the surprise for me. I know Larkin had his sort of last cut or toughest cut on this forward group as Quinton Byfield. For me, it might have been someone like Carter Verhaeghe, because again, you're trying to build a forward group that has a good balance, and I think Verhaeghe would give some jam. So that was my one qualm, if you want to call it that, but I largely do, again, think this forward group has a lot of quote unquote locks on it.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the guys in yellow that you see here have already been selected to the team, so they're already locked in. And Lafreniere is definitely the guy that stands out because, you know, you look at the success that he's had this season and stretching back to the playoffs last year where he really turned it on. He's been incredibly impressive, yet he still isn't even getting some of the big opportunities on his own team yet, to think that taking a step forward and making this Canada cut would be an even bigger thing on top of that. So to me, I think it's certainly worth the conversation. I love the bold projection that Matt Larkin has him on the roster. I'm not entirely convinced that that will be the case, because you mentioned Verhaeghe, and he to me stands out as the toughest cut, because this is a guy who's battle tested. He's done this in the Stanley Cup final in back-to-back years. He's been in big boy moments, and not to say that Lafreniere can't or won't get there, but it doesn't have to be this February in Montreal and Boston, as great a story as it would be. So I would tend to personally lean toward the experience that Verhaeghe has shown.
I think one of the more fun debate with this Canada forward group is saying who's going to play with who in your kind of dream hockey fan world. What duo or trio would you like to see together the most? I mean, Larkin has McDavid with McKinnon. That'd be excellent. I'm intrigued by just throwing together a line that's all the East Coast boys with Marchand, Crosby, and McKinnon. Bedard and McDavid is tantalizing as well. Which one would be the most fun for you to watch?
Yeah, even McDavid and Crosby on the same line. I know, like, the idea of separating them and kind of balancing out your power is amazing, but there's no doubt about it that Team Canada, and you can underline this 6 times, Team Canada has the 3 best players in the entire tournament on their team: Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, and Cale Makar. So the rest of it will be about trying to kind of surround Canada with the right chemistry and fit. And that's always what it comes down to when you have an embarrassment of riches to pick from.
There's one area, though, Frank, where they do not have an embarrassment of riches. I'll go through this in order for a second, though, but the blue line looks solid. I know the one tough decision Larkin said he had to make was including Mackenzie Weegar over someone like a Josh Morrissey, but right below that blue line is that goaltending, and it is, after going through it, undoubtedly the weakest in the tournament.
Yeah, and that's going to be what sticks out for Canada like a sore thumb, unless they can outscore it and outrun it, which is entirely possible given the forward group that they have. The one thing that I question about this defense core as it's currently assembled would be, and this is the big thing that a lot of these teams are going to have to talk about, Cale Makar and then Evan Bouchard are going to dominate probably the power play opportunities for this team on the back end. So the big question then is, if you're not playing on the power play, what are you bringing to the table as a defenseman that will differentiate you from everyone else? Alex Pietrangelo is a really well-rounded player. Makes sense. But when it comes to Shea Theodore and Mackenzie Weegar, I don't know that you need 2 guys that really sort of think offensively like that. I'd want a more stout defender in the mix. I don't care about getting 50 to 70 points in an NHL regular season. I care about keeping pucks out of our net and supporting and buoying our goaltending, which obviously is the weakest link of the team. So I think there probably needs to be some more curated selections here, not knocking Matt's at all. They're probably consensus. I wonder if Canada maybe goes in a little bit of a different direction.
Yeah, I do agree with you in the sense of like, okay, Makar and Bouchard is your kind of power play specialist. You even need them both. It is worth noting Cale Makar kills a lot of penalties, though. I think you can look at this and go, Bouchard's your power play guy. Like, as much as Cale Makar has all the skill in the world, him and Taves are actually a good PK duo.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it is like another point that talking to some people involved in the selection process have made is some of the best players in these teams that have been picked are not just power play guys, they also contribute on the penalty kill, to your point. So I think a guy that stands out to me, Morrissey is one. I'd also be looking at someone like Dougie Hamilton too.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.